All right, welcome to Speaking for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus, Wiley, that dude. Coming up, I'll tell you why I have no problem with Jason Witten bringing politics into the broadcast booth.
And I've got another installment of That Dude's Dudes, but we start every show with a Whitlock. So what you got today, big dog?
I got a wolf, Marcellus. I don't think you've ever seen my wolf.
Oh, I hope not.
You're about to see it. Today, I'm the wolf of Winston Street. I'm caping up for Tampa Bay quarterback Jameis Winston, whose 3-game suspension ended this week and is now in a QB controversy with journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm going to tell Tampa head coach Dirk Koetter what to do by channeling my inner Leonardo DiCaprio and one of my favorite movie scenes of all time from The Wolf of Wall Street. All right, you see that football there? I'm going to let you in on a little secret about those footballs. They're not going to throw themselves accurately. Without the right quarterback, they're worthless. They need a highly trained quarterback. They need killers. Let me tell you a little something. There's no nobility in losing. I've been a winner and a loser. And I choose winning every freaking time. Because at least as a winner, I show up on game day, iced out, in a custom-made Tom Ford suit, wearing a championship ring. If anyone watching this thinks I'm superficial, low character,
Not you.
go get a job coaching Pee-wee football, because that's where you freaking belong. This is the NFL.
This is the NFL.
And before you depart my locker room full of winners, I want you, Dirk Koetter, take a look around your locker room. Go on, take a good look. Because if you mess up this decision, sometime in the not-so-distant future, you're going to walk into a football stadium with a coordinator's playbook, and an NFL head coach is going to walk in with you with a brand-new quarterback, a Porsche, who looks and plays like Jameis Winston. Big, voluptuous, cannon for an arm. And who are you going to be standing next to? Ryan Fitzpatrick? A disgusting Ivy Leaguer with 100 days of razor stubble?
Chill out, dog.
That's who you're going to be standing next to. So you listen to me, and you listen well. Are you tired of hearing about Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints?
Then tired.
Good! Pick up the phone and call Jameis Winston. Are you tired of seeing Cam Newton's Superman celebration?
Oh, yeah.
Good! Pick up the phone and call Jameis Winston. Do Matt Ryan and the Falcons think the Buccaneers are worthless losers? Good! Pick up the phone and call Jameis Winston. I want you to deal with your loss on Monday Night Football by turning to Jameis. All you have to do is play your most talented quarterback, the guy who won the Heisman Trophy in a national championship at Florida State, the guy who told the Bucs it's okay to fire Lovie Smith and make you the head coach. And when it happens, Jameis, I need you to be ferocious. You be relentless. You be a quarterback terrorist. Now let's knock Khalil Mack and the Bears out of first place. They let the wolf loose today, Marcellus.
You let the wolf out. Woof, woof. All that talk, but I'm with Marshawn Lynch. I'm about that action, boss. And you know what? You got me hyped. You spoke it well. You got the fire. But Ryan Fitzpatrick has this team. It's his team, man. And you know how he got him? He didn't have to go out there and say, ow. He didn't have to go out there and make them eat W's. He went out there and gave them W's. And the last 12 games, they've had a split sample size. 6 games for Jameis, suspension and all, injuries, and 6 games for Ryan Fitzpatrick in sub duty. Ryan Fitzpatrick has won 4 of those 6. Jameis has won 1 of those 6 with the same team, with the same personnel. And it's interesting when you talk about who has this team, I tell you that Ryan Fitzpatrick has this team. And it's not just because Deshaun Jackson, after week 1, came out and said, Hey, I'm going with Fitz after week 2. I'm going with Fitz. It's because he's speaking for the entire team, the masses. I've been in that same position. Rookie season, that same Drew Brees. And he was our quarterback, and Doug Flutie was on the roster. And I came out in the media, and you're never supposed to do this, pick a teammate. And I came out and said, it should be Doug Flutie, 777. And I wasn't speaking for just me. I was speaking for all the guys in there who said, Marcellus, you're above reproach. They won't cut you. They love you. Speak for us. We want Doug Flutie, not Drew Brees. So when Deshaun Jackson comes out and says he wants Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's speaking for 51 other dudes in that locker room as well. So I got to respect what he did and what is happening in Tampa. It's Fitzpatrick's team.
Listen, what Deshaun Jackson said is stay with the hot hand. And the hand cooled off on Monday Night Football.
In the first half.
It cooled off for the game.
No,
Look, it was winning time, and he had a final drive that could have won the game, and he blew it. He didn't complete any of those passes. But I want to stay with DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street.
You killed it.
No. I just want to stay there because you saw the movie, correct?
Yeah, I did.
It's an awesome movie. Penny stocks is where Jordan Belfort got his start. Mm-hmm. And that's what Jameis Winston is. He's a penny stock. He's a blue chip stock that has been devalued to penny stock. I get that his stock is low, he's screwed up. I get all those statistical deals about who's won and who hasn't when they've been the starting quarterback. I get it. But at the end of the day, if you look deep at Jameis Winston, he's a Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. He's a national champion in college for a reason. He's the #1 overall pick in the draft for a reason. There's a reason why, it is not just his intellect, why Ryan Fitzpatrick played at an Ivy League school. There's a reason why he's a journeyman quarterback. Again, he's a great fire extinguisher, open when there's an emergency, break the glass, bring him out. But eventually a fire extinguisher is not the fire department. And it runs out, and you got to bring a real fireman in to do it. And Jameis Winston, even though he hasn't shown it fully yet, he is a real fireman. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to me, I look at all the talent around them, they have to max out this year. And the only way to max out is with Jameis Winston, because at some point, Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be that dude you saw in the first half against Pittsburgh, and he's going to be that dude you saw at the end of the game against Pittsburgh. He's not championship caliber.
Okay, look, you got one more Ivy League shot, too. I'm going to let you know while I'm doing this show with you. You keep shooting at these Ivy Leaguers in the NFL, that ain't going to happen. It's funny you call him the fireman, and that means he's going to put out the fire. And he is going to put out the fire, which is the hot start by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-1, which I don't think they would have been 2-1 with this level of confidence if Jameis was starting. But let's talk about confidence, because you say, hey, former #1 overall pick, hey, you're a Heisman Trophy winner, and you're the franchise quarterback. You should be confident. Listen to Jameis Winston. Listen to this sound of him, and it sounds like a guy who's already defeated in this moment.
It's exciting, man. Like, we're having a lot of success, and I want that to continue, and I know it will. I'm here to assist the best way I possibly can. You know, my passion for this team, my love for this team goes beyond of where I'm out there throwing the football for this team or not.
You went from scorer to assist. Quick. I'm a facilitator now because you know why? I got to stand in support. Dirk Cutter went on record and said, the quarterbacks know who's the starter. And if you're going to name the starter before you see a practice week from Jameis, who's been out for 3 weeks, you know who that guy is. It's Fitzpatrick. You don't name Jameis the starter until you see him at least in practice. And the reason he is sounding defeated in that moment, because he knows he's not the starter.
I didn't hear a lack of confidence. I heard some humility, much needed humility, and a guy in the right mentality, and a guy who's following orders, in my belief. Now, look, Dirk Cutter can make the wrong decision and stick with Fitzpatrick. I hope and pray he doesn't. But if I'm Jameis Winston, I'm not tipping the cards one way or the other. And so to me, he's being very coachable here, not showing his cards, staying in that humble spirit. And in terms of what you've seen, and again, I know this was a month ago, Jameis Winston was the best quarterback in the NFL during the preseason.
No. That's what we're counting now, huh?
No, he was.
Okay.
And so to me, he was right on schedule for what I saw at the end of the season last year. A guy playing at a very high level, a guy very competitive, a guy that was blossoming into why they drafted him #1 overall. And so I think Jameis handled that response perfectly. I think he's hiding his cards because Dirk Cutter's trying to hide his cards. But I think if Dirk Cutter goes, listen, man, there's no downside to benching Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No.
Because you can bring him back in at any time.
He's used to that role.
At any time. Jameis Winston, you have to put him out there and really go for it in terms of this is the year for Dirk Cutter and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're in the most competitive, best quarterback division in football. You can't take on Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton, particularly this Cam Newton, with Ryan Fitzpatrick. You have to send your best and brightest out there, and it's Jameis Winston.
Well, look, I mean, Jameis is hiding his cards in part because his cards are not better than Ryan Fitzpatrick's. And, I mean, Ryan's saying, I play this game face up. Let's go. You wouldn't see my cards? Here we go. What are those cards? He's just set an NFL record for the first 3 consecutive 400-yard passing games. He's just second all-time in NFL history, the first 3 games in passing yardage. And he's like, I'm doing historical stuff. I'm not doing franchise quarterback stuff. I'm doing all-time franchise quarterback stuff in terms of numbers and performance. And when I have that locker room with a spokesman like a Deshaun Jackson coming up to support me, I haven't heard one player yet say, this is Jameis's job. I haven't heard one player yet, and that speaks volumes because I've been there before, and when people don't step up for you, it's because they're not supporting you.
I've lost my voice. I can't continue to argue with you. Jordan Belfort took me out of it. Stick around. Later in the show, we'll give you our approval ratings for Jameis Winston. Here's where they were before this season started. Marcellus had him as a role player. I had him on the scout team. We'll see where he ends up. We'll get right back to the show, but first, I wanted to tell our listeners about HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. Why do I recommend HelloFresh? There's something for everyone. 3 plans to choose from: classic, veggie, and family. Each box is made up of fresh, responsibly obtained ingredients from carefully selected farms and high-rated trusted sources. Make family dinners fuss-free with HelloFresh's picky eater, kid-tested, and approved family plan recipes. Rediscover the excitement of cooking. Look forward to your HelloFresh delivery knowing dinner just got that much easier. HelloFresh believes cooking should be simple and convenient, not a chore. All the ingredients come pre-measured in handy labeled meal kits so you know which ingredients to go with each recipe. Won't spend time all night in the kitchen because recipes only take around 30 minutes. There are many benefits of subscribing, so you can keep enjoying HelloFresh week after week. Spend less time meal planning and grocery shopping each week and get that time back to do more of what you love. Get delicious, filling meals delivered right to your door every week for less than $10 per serving and free shipping. For a total of $60 off, that's $20 off your first 3 boxes. Visit HelloFresh.com/Speak60 and enter Speak60. Again, for a total of $60 off, that's $20 off your first 3 boxes. Visit HelloFresh.com/Speak60 and enter Speak60 as the promo code. So visit HelloFresh today. All right, welcome back. I'm Jason Whitlock. He's Marcellus Wiley. We'll get into the NFL's roughing the passer controversy in a minute. But first, you all know Marcellus is that dude. Now he's going to show us the best plays from big guys around football. It's time for that dude's dudes. Marcellus, what you got?
Oh, you know I got the best 3 plays out there from the big dudes up front, those guys in the trenches. They don't get enough love and attention, so we give them love on that dude's dudes. And let's start off with our third that dude's dude, Kyle Williams. Buffalo Bills. Go Bills Mafia. You're going to see Kyle Williams off the ball. Quickly gets to Kirk Cousins. Runs right through Vikings lineman Mike Remmers for the sack. But let's see right here. Look at the leverage you see for Remmers. You think that's a good bench press. 500-pounder, right? Got his arms extended and everything. But because he's overextended, that 500 pounds quickly drops down to no weight at all. And look at Kyle Williams. He realizes that in the moment, slaps the wrist off him, gets skinny in the hole, and gets to Kirk Cousins right there.
Did Kyle send a limo for that offensive lineman?
He sent that limo. That was easy pickings. Number 2 on that dudes. We're going to go to Miami with the Dolphins and Vincent Taylor. This is tailor-made right here. Against the Raiders, you see him come in. Against Gabe Jackson, gets the sack. But let's see how he gets him. First of all, you got to sit him down. And when you sit him down, be nice. Be a gentleman. Sit him in the chair. And as you sit him in the chair, look at that anchor foot. Oh, my God. Jason Whitlock at Ball State right there. And then next thing you know, when you got him sit down and he's overextended, what do you hit him with? The grab rip. Simple collegiate move. And look at that angle right there. The protractor has to come out because that's where you get your explosion, and that's how you turn the corner. With those angles, get to Derek Carr, another sack. Great play.
Surprised they didn't throw a flag for hitting the quarterback in the knee.
I'm not talking to you right now. And the number one, that dude of the week is Matt Ioannidis. Oh, this Greek god of bull rush right here. You can see him. Gets to Aaron Rodgers, and oh, yeah, Lattimore. You watch this. He tries to do the Reggie White hump move. Pulls it off somewhat, but look at that angle, 112 degrees. And now, Brian Bulaga, once again, second time he's been on that dude's as a victim, gets caught on skates. And once you're on skates, it's time to break out the Billie Jean. It's time to moonwalk, brother, because he's going to have you going back because now he's in your chest, and you are going backwards. Look at that lack of power in that position. Time to send him to the sky because he's toast. Get him up out of here, please. Thank you very much. Shoo! He's gone. No power position. Walk him right back to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers like my knee. Can you get him off of me, please? And once again, a sack on the play. Great play by Matt Ioannidis, the Greek god of bull rush.
Once again, no offensive lineman highlighted. Come on, man. You got to get over that vibe.
I'm trying. Talk to production. We're going to get this. We're going to get this.
All right, that was awesome, Marcellus. All right, from some big dudes to some big stories, let's start in the NFL, where reportedly several members of the competition committee are uncomfortable with the sharp increase in roughing the passer calls this season, which have more than doubled from this point last year. And the members of the committee aren't the only ones unhappy with the rule, with people around the league expressing frustration, including Cowboys owner Jerry Jones.
The way I see our future is I see a real serious emphasis on youth football, amateur football. I see it reflected at the high school level. And I see a collegiate game that certainly has a lot of finesse in it, but is a great game and makes these kinds of adjustments we're talking about. But when it comes to pro football, to use a boxing term, that's when you put the 6-ounce gloves on. You don't fight with those 10-outs, or you don't fight with those headgears. Everybody's being really paid to go out and incur those type situations that have more risk in them.
All right, Marcellus, I got to keep it real with you.
Yeah.
Everybody I know loves you on the show. I think my mother loves you more than she loves me at this point. But they all have one question. What the hell is Marcellus talking about defending this rough for the passing stuff?
Right.
Please explain yourself. How in the hell are you good with all these roughing the... Everybody else hates it but you.
I love it. I'm protecting an investment. This is not analogous, as Jerry Jones tried to go with the boxing analogy, to a boxing match. Because in a boxing match, you're paying in part to see him get knocked out. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, whoever that boxer may be, that's part of that game. But we're not paying to see the...
I'm not.
The starting quarterback.
I'm not.
I'll give you a case in point. Here's an example. This week, I'm going to the Chargers-49ers game. Let's just say that I was bringing a few of my friends.
You're going on free tickets, but go ahead.
Okay.
You're not paying.
But my friends were also going on those same free tickets, and guess what they said? With free tickets in hand, oh, man, Jimmy G's not playing. We still going to the game? That's my point. So you got to protect that guy in this situation. You're making the mistake that everyone's making, and I hope your mama not making it because I love your mama because she loves me. But don't conflate the fact that they have a new rule and that they're getting this new rule enforced correctly every single time. It's a judgment rule. And in every judgment rule, whether it's PI, whether it's holding, when there's a point of emphasis, first thing we do is overcorrect. We do it too much. We call it too often. And then we get to a place of common sense because we have a body of work and we realize this is where we want to settle in. Be patient, everyone. This rule is to protect the stars of the game. This rule is to protect the integrity of the game in terms of safety and promoting that at the lower levels to the NFL level. I am in full support, but I'm also patient, which you're not.
It's not about, this is intolerable and unacceptable. As a fan, I'm a Chiefs fan. You mentioned Jimmy G. And when Jimmy G chose not to dip out of bounds and decided to be an idiot and take on a defensive player. You know what the Chiefs fan in me did?
Yeah.
Good job, Jimmy G. See you later. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, goodbye.
Right.
All that. Out of the game over. I was happy about it. I'm crying no tears for San Francisco because Jimmy G was an idiot. I want to see quarterbacks play football. And in football, it's a contact sport. They need to be contacted. That's surviving that contact. I'm a huge Phil Simms fan. And he's not in the Hall of Fame, but I love the way he played because he would stand in the pocket and take that hit to deliver the football. Tom Brady, that's what made him so great early in his career. There's a part, they're taking that out of the game. It's like anybody now can play quarterback. Anybody can be the tough guy. And I just don't like it. It's not football.
Okay, so Jason Whitlock was in on the Matt Castle 11-win season that didn't go to the playoffs. You were like, oh, yeah, Tom Brady down. I'm fine with that. Look, you could be a Chiefs fan. I could be a Chargers fan. But we have to Voltron and be an NFL fan. And if you're the commissioner or you're on the executive committee or you're on the rules committee, you have to look out for the greater good, which is all teams, which is Jimmy G showing up in L.A. and he's on the sidelines is not good for the game. And you have to respect even that, protecting that investment.
Quarterbacks.
They don't even practice.
Again, but their blood is no redder than mine or any defensive players.
In practice,
why they get more protection than everybody else, or it's just to an extreme. Nobody agrees with you, Marcel. You're out on an island on
Go
this
to a
one.
practice. They wear a red jersey for a reason.
As of now, nothing has been done about the rule, which was obviously obvious in Monday night's Steelers-Buccaneers game when the flags were flying to the tune of 4 roughing the passer calls. During the broadcast, the Monday night crew couldn't ignore the issue, and Jason Witten actually steered the conversation in a political direction.
They've just gone too far with that rule. You know, it's just, and I felt that I knew they wanted to make it about the health and safety and protect these quarterbacks. It just seems like we just went a little bit to the left wing on that, you know, with our approach of trying to protect it because, as we said, not only the players frustrated, but the coaches. They don't know how to coach this, and that's when you have a challenge with this rule.
All right, Marcellus, you have a problem with Jason bringing politics into this discussion.
Yeah, I do. Look, one, I don't care if you're on the left. I don't care if you're on the right. Are you in the middle of your living room, in the middle of that television screen watching football? Yes. And if you are, you don't want this all of a sudden being part of the conversation when you're watching just some good football. So just a blanket statement, I want to go there. But to me, it's different when you look at Jason Witten and his misstep. I don't even think that Jason Witten truthfully went all the way in terms of left wing meant exactly what it sounded like. I think this was just a miscue blown out of proportion by a guy who's on the big platform who may have misspoke. So I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the left wing part, if he did want to attach to it, a little too much for me when I'm watching football.
Didn't bother me because I heard his comments and hear his comments as him saying, look, man, there's a war on football, and we're trying to change the game of football. And I believe Jason's trying to say in an unhealthy way. And football, and again, I think what Jason was saying is like football's not a safe space. This, for the people that want to be safe, don't step on the football field. And let's don't try to please the people that think football is too violent, it's toxically masculine. Let's make it less masculine. Let's make it so everybody can play. And it's just not a game for everybody. It's for people that are a little bit touched and a little bit crazy and just that this is where they work out their physical frustrations. And so I don't have a problem with it at all because I hear his comments as ringing true to me. There is, and whether we like it or not, the left, liberals, don't like football as much as conservative people or just even traditional sports fans. And there's an attack on football, and I think it bothers Jason Witten, and he snuck it in there. Is the Monday night booth the place to do it? Maybe not.
Maybe not, you think?
There's a
Stop there,
again,
stop there.
He's already written a terrific column about social media and things like that. If he wants to touch on it, write it in a column so you can be heard in context. During the middle of a game, that's probably a little bit too much. but I don't have a real problem with it.
I got a problem with it. One, it's a lazy generalization to just say left, war on football, let me use this platform, ESPN, which Jimmy Pitaro's already went on record, the head of ESPN saying politics is out of our company. And then we can see him saying, making moves like no national anthem broadcast, okay. Jamel Hill and her buyout, you can read into that what you want, but they've distanced themselves from politics. Then on the biggest stage, on their biggest product, you have Jason Witten taking a political stance. That needs to be addressed, and I'm sure it is behind closed doors. This is not a war on football. This is just Jason Witten, a rookie announcer, having a war on words and not knowing exactly what to say in
Not
those moments.
today, but there is a war on football, Marcel.
Okay, there could be a war on football, but this one's not. This is Jason Witten, a rookie announcer who.
No, but his,
right?
I think, yes, he's
Yeah.
a rookie announcer making a mistake.
Making a
and We'll
mistake.
give him a pass on that. But I think where he's coming from is this whole movement to make football safe is just silly. And again, I get it. We've gone too far with it. I don't want to say it's silly.
I'm about to say, how can you say
far with
safety is silly? You can still play football
gone
and be
too
tough.
far.
People still gonna get knocked out as safe as you make football. Just imagine the utopian version of football where it is what you say is the safest place possible. It's still hazardous to your health.
Jerry Jones said it, I thought, expertly. Football is about the 6-ounce gloves. Don't put boxers. I don't want to see Mike Tyson fighting in 10, 12-ounce gloves. I want to see him in 6-ounce gloves knocking somebody out. That's what I pay my money to go see. And when I go see football, I want to see quarterbacks get touched. And Jason Witten is right. We've got this hysteria about concussions, and no other sports gets analyzed like football. And so we've gone to this extreme of we got to lay quarterbacks down. There's a great meme about laying a quarterback down and kissing him on the forehead. We've just gone too far. That's the next step. If you don't kiss him on the forehead, it doesn't count as a sack. Support for Speak for Yourself comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Let's talk about buying a home. It can be one of the most important purchases you'll ever make. But today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments, which can turn a great experience into an anxious one. That's why Quicken Loans created their exclusive power buying process. Here's how it works. They check your income, assets, and credit to give you a verified approval. This gives you the strength of a cash buyer, making your offer more attractive to sellers. Once verified, you qualify for their exclusive Rate Shield approval. They'll lock in your interest rate for up to 90 days while you shop for a new home. Then once you found the one, if rates have gone up, your rate stays the same, but if rates have gone down, you get to keep that new, lower rate. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/speak. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply. Based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records, equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. All right, welcome back. Marcellus and I are joined now by Fox College football analyst Joel Klatt, the smartest man in college football. Let's move to Clemson. That wasn't a joke. That was serious.
Limits, huh?
Marcellus laughing a little too loud.
Abbreviated.
That's all
All right, let's move to college football, where Dabo Swinney's attempt to juggle two quarterbacks hasn't exactly worked out after Dabo demoted Kelly Bryant and named true freshman Trevor Lawrence the starter. Bryant announced that he would transfer, saying the move was a slap in the face. Meanwhile, at Alabama, Jalen Hurts decided to stay with the Crimson Tide despite his diminished role. Joel, who made the better decision here, Bryant or Hurts?
It's really tough to compare them because they're such different situations. You might think, oh, like, what in the world do you mean? Because it looks exactly the same. No, it's so different. And the reason is because Kelly Bryant's in his final year of eligibility. If he plays one more snap in the 5th game, his football life ends at the end of this season. And so I got to credit Dabo Swinney a lot for making this decision now and affording Kelly Bryant the opportunity to go and transfer and to save and elongate his football life. Because now he can graduate, he'll transfer without penalty, and he still has 1 year of eligibility, whereas Jalen Hurts has 2 years of eligibility. So even if he is used the rest of the season and uses one of those years of eligibility up, he graduates in December, and if he wants to, he can still transfer and have a year somewhere else to play. So that's why I thought the sense of urgency was there for Kelly Bryant and for Dabo Swinney, and I thought they all handled it well. Outside of the fact that he said it was a slap in the face, I just don't agree with that. I don't think he did anything to lose the position. It was more Trevor Lawrence doing things, in particular from a drive efficiency standpoint, to gain the position. But this is the right thing to do. I think for Kelly's sake, for Dabo's sake, for everybody's sake, I think everyone handled this the right way.
All right, hold on. Joel just dodged. Who made the better decision?
Who made a better decision? I would say Jalen Hurts. And it's interesting because Kelly Bryant and his decision was a conventional decision. Hey, the urgency is there. If I play one more snap, I lose my eligibility, basically being on the bench as a sub. So what do I do? Because I can be an NFL prospect, maybe even at the same position, I will go somewhere else and put another body of work together. Respect that. That's conventional, though. What's nuanced is what Jalen Hurts did. When his father comes out and says he will be the biggest college free agent if he's not a starter, and then he's realized that he's not a starter, and he says, you know what? With all the criticism that came my way because I don't look like the traditional NFL quarterback prospect, let me hide behind 2 things. One is my resume, 26-2 as a starter, 2 national championship games, 1 championship, and I'm at Alabama. He knows that if he steps out and goes somewhere else and puts together another body of work, it won't be as successful, it won't be as good, and then all the criticism will avalanche on him as a prospect. Hide behind Alabama, say, if you guys draft me or just get me into camp, unleash me, and to me, that's the better decision.
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts for a different reason, and I think both guys made great decisions. I love Jalen Hurts' decision because I see it as self-awareness in terms of I'm not a pro prospect. I don't need to go run out and get on the field someplace else immediately. I love this play. I think this kid will be beloved in Alabama. And the University of Alabama and the people of Alabama, he can do whatever he can write his own ticket. He can be governor one day. He can get right in line and potentially 10 years from now be the head coach at Alabama or somewhere in college football. I love this decision for a kid who's not an NFL quarterback. This is a great play, sticking with a great university, a great program that I think will take care of him moving forward. For Kelly Bryant, I think he made the right decision. I'm going to give Jalen a little bit more credit. The right decision. Kelly Bryant still sees himself as a pro prospect, and he wants to go, get on the field, and protect his pro future as soon as possible. He can't accept Trevor Lawrence beating him out. He's got to go play somewhere as soon as possible and continue his pursuit of being an NFL quarterback.
Interesting how you support Jalen Hurts in this decision, but when we see it on the pro level with a Nick Foles, to me, they're the same thing. He pulled a Nick Foles. You criticize and kill Nick Foles for doing
versus...
Okay, but look, at least Nick Foles has money in the bank.
Well, remember
now you're taking away your money and your potential.
I do think Jalen is having his cake and eating it too, and there's nothing wrong with that. He can be a part of a championship team this year, still graduate, still transfer, still get a year of eligibility. Again, very different situation. So the story is not over. So I don't want to necessarily praise Jalen Hurts for staying. He might not stay. That's
he
still out in
stays
front
this
of him.
year and helps him win a national championship, Joel. His stock
Then
in
that's
Alabama
great.
just continues to rise.
I don't think there's a bad decision for him. I really don't.
All right, and let's transition to Michigan and Notre Dame. And you talk about after week 1, a lot of people said Michigan's season was over after the 7-point loss to Notre Dame. But right now, looking at the 2 teams, the question for you, Joe, is who's the better team? Is it Michigan or is it Notre Dame?
Well, before last week, I would have said it was Michigan because what they had put together post the Notre Dame game was much more impressive than what Notre Dame was doing until Brian Kelly showed some big guts, replaced his starting quarterback, and went with Ian Book. So now Ian Book comes into Notre Dame. They throw a 50-burger out there against Wake Forest, 53 points. They hadn't scored over 24 in the previous 3 games. So now it's a little bit more of a toss-up. I'm going to lean Michigan, even though they lost the game, for 2 really important reasons. I think they're better at quarterback than Notre Dame is, and they're better on the defensive side, and that will prove itself out over the course of time. Remember now, they didn't have Shea Patterson eligible, if you will, for a long period of time before that game. And I think they got caught, didn't play their best, defensively gave up a couple of big touchdowns in the first quarter. I still think Michigan is the better team of the two. I know that sounds crazy, but they are.
Joel, I'm about to demonstrate to you why I am the authority on college football and have been for 20-plus years.
This is it.
It's because I'm willing to do this. Jim Harbaugh is starting to earn my respect.
All right.
This team is starting to play with that edge that I've been wanting to see from day one. I love the way Michigan's playing. It blows my – a month ago, I would have thought – and Notre Dame, this quarterback move is tremendous.
Sure.
I thought they were going to get beat by Wake Forest if they kept playing the way they were. And so Notre Dame looks really good. But I think Michigan looks better. They're playing with a physicality. They've got their running game going. Obviously, their quarterback is much better. This is the Jim Harbaugh I've been waiting to see. I want to see him take out Michigan State, and then I think that Michigan-Ohio State game should be damn near a college Super Bowl.
I think there's just a handful of teams that can honestly say they control their own destiny towards the playoff in their own hands. I think Michigan's still one of those teams. They've got enough of those resume builders on their schedule left, like Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State. If they were to take care of business and the way that they're playing, they would find themselves in the playoff.
Yeah.
So, you know,
this
Michigan's
is not
very
week
good.
one with Shea Patterson, as you said.
He's gotten better every week.
Every week gotten better. It was a conservative game plan week one. You look at Michigan, and they call it battle rhythm. It's interesting how they like to build on the success of every single week. They didn't see that last year. They didn't have that complexion last year, that physicality you talk about. You got to go back to 2016 when Harbaugh saw that with this team. He says he sees it now, but they need the tougher opponents, which are coming.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden that confidence will brew to the top. But right now, they're approaching playing at an optimal level.
They're two edge rushers and Devin Bush. And then when I look across at Ohio State, they got the problem with Bosa. That makes a huge difference. If he comes back, will he be able to play at that super high level? Love the way Michigan's playing. Hope I don't have to change course anymore. Jim Harbaugh's playing
I'm taking this all in, all this Michigan love.
Love the way Harbaugh's. This is what I've expected from day one. All right, thank you, Joel.
You bet, man.
All right, welcome back. We're joined now by a couple of Steelers legends, Rod Woodson and James Harrison. Let's move to the Steelers, who got their first win of the year Monday night after a tumultuous first couple of weeks that saw some bad play on the field and a lot of noise off it. But after the game, Big Ben said the team's biggest issue was actually people on the outside of the locker room blowing all the drama out of proportion. Oh, I was expecting Big Ben.
He waiting for you to blow it out of proportion.
For the video.
Right. Blow it out of proportion.
I am going to blow it out of proportion and say, look, they got lucky Monday night. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a chance to put them to sleep after being up 30-10. He had a final drive that could have cost them that game. They would have blown a 20-point lead, and we would still be sitting here talking about Mike Tomlin and all the chaos. I'm not sure the Steelers are out of hot water yet.
I disagree with that. That's a collegiate mindset when you go out there and you say, oh, how much did we win by? But in the pros, we don't add up the scores, just the wins, you know? So if I'm on that plane ride back home, are we smiling or is Coach wilding? And Coach ain't wilding because he's happy we won. That's all that matters. We'll get back and regroup.
Every team has issues. And for some reason this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers have more issues, especially guys outside of football, the penalties on the field. But remember, when Seattle won the Super Bowl, they were the most penalized team in football. And, the only thing that disappoints me right now for the football team, and it's not about all the issues, it's their defensive play. Because this offense is scoring points. This is not the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that I know, because they're giving up way too many big plays. I mean, you look at it, you got over 20 big plays in passing, 15 of those in the air in 3 games. That's that's 5 a game. That's way too, if you want to win, that's way too many. So, the pass rush has to get there, but the back end secondary they have to be better. They got to solidify everything. The pre-snap communication has to increase. I don't see anybody back there talking to each other, hand signals. Guys are wide open in the middle of the fields because guys aren't playing together. So if they get that together, their offense is going to be okay.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't lost any confidence in them, especially that they've taken the step in the right direction. A win is a win. It don't matter how you do it. As long as they got Big Ben, they got AB, and the offensive line is doing what they need to do, I have confidence in them. The defense will eventually come around, and I feel like they'll get that together. The back end needs to get in contact with the front end, and then they need to get the pressure at the times when they're covering so they can get the sacks. And when they're not getting the pressure, they need to be in better coverage at those times. Everything needs to flow one-on-one. So I still have confidence that they'll make it a long way into the playoffs.
Everybody's ignoring and praising the offense. They didn't score after halftime. They didn't. It was 30-10 at halftime.
But they still did
30
what they
points,
needed to do
though.
at the end and extend the play. Ben did what Ben does. He extended the play.
James Conner.
Threw for a first down.
Yeah.
Sealed
Made
the
the
game.
plays when they had to.
They won.
On the offensive side of it. Just think about it. You just said they scored 30 points in a half. That's a lot. First of all, 30 points in the whole game is a lot of points.
No question.
And if you can't win a football game when your offense scores 30 points, even though they gave up 17 unanswered.
One was a pick six that the offense didn't score. The offense scored.
That was defense chipping in.
No, I get it. But the offense scored 24 points, none after halftime. Again, I'm not sure if the problems are fixed. Ryan
I never
Fitzpatrick
said the problems are fixed.
was trash.
And what is the problem? Because it's
Never
interesting,
said the
to
problem are
Jason's
fixed.
point, 30 points at the half, and then you're almost in position to lose that game if Deshaun Jackson's punt return's not called back. Whoa, what's that game look like?
Can't
Cleveland,
hold
week
them.
one. Cleveland, week one. They were up 21-7. Let Cleveland climb back into that game and end up with a tie. What is that about this team, whether it's their mental makeup or how they're playing the exit?
Not finishing.
Not finishing
Right,
games.
right. It comes down to not finishing. I don't know if it's, the players themselves just having lacks and getting up by so many points and, thinking that it's going to flow through the same way in the second half.
Is that a leadership question? Because the leaders of the team supposed to say, hey, man, it's 4 quarters.
This isn't a
60
young
minutes.
team.
Yeah.
But it is led by the players, and the players on the sideline have to come together, especially on the defensive side. I keep going back to the defense because offensively they're scoring points,
Right.
even though they didn't score in the second half of the Tampa Bay game. I get that. Defensively, they have to come together because if they come together, they can go a long way because this offense can score against any defense in the National Football League. They got playmakers across the board.
I'm going to put y'all on the spot, you Steelers guys. Look, the knock on Tomlin is that he coaches immaturely, and what we're describing, a team that can't finish is immature in my opinion, and this is a veteran team. This isn't a bunch of young guys. Ben, AB, Juju's been around a little bit now too. The guys on the defensive side, he's still young, but this is, to me, this team should be more mature than what I see on the field with all the penalties and not closing out.
Well, that's something that, I would lean towards, maybe it's something that he needs to be more assertive with as far as how he handles those situations when they happen and how he deals with the discipline of it. But when it comes down to it, sometimes you're going to have laws, and right now it's the beginning of the year. These guys really they got 3 games. They played 4 preseason games. I think that whole time they might have played, 2 quarters altogether, 3 quarters altogether. So they're really starting a preseason and trying to get into the groove of exactly, what's going on. They got to get a communication together. They got new faces in there. They got new people, and they got rookies.
We gotta go. Sorry about that. All right, today we're talking Jameis Winston, whose season is going about as badly as it can, getting suspended, then having his backup, Ryan Fitzpatrick, completely outshine anything he's done in the last couple years. My rating for Jameis is way down, down 17 points, in fact, down to a 36. He is officially my first dumpster fire. Jameis
Dumpster fire, okay.
Job performance dropped 11 points.
Let's hear it.
Availability is the most important ability. He hasn't been available for 3 weeks. He's down to a 6, and then I got him down 5 in character, all the way down to a 4.
Job performance. Didn't the same Jason Whitlock tell me how spectacular he looked in the preseason?
Don't count.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, but why'd you use it in the earlier block saying it did count?
That's
why
a
he should keep his
prediction
job?
about what's going to happen.
Okay, look, I thought you said he was playing well enough to be the starter. He should
is.
start over the historical numbers of Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
but he has a 6 job performance. Interesting. And the character 4? I mean, 4?
How many allegations does it need to be?
Allegations is different than convictions, which is different than This is inmate level. Like 4, like how can you get any lower than 4?
Hey, man, go check the resume and all the
Yeah.
you know, I got no problem. You got him as a scout team. I don't get it. If he ain't a dumpster fire, who is?
Well, first of all, he's Ryan Fitzpatrick's backup. That is called scout team. So he needs to be exactly where he is. 52, he's down 9. Look, a job performance, I give him a 13. He's down in job performance. Don't forget.
Availability, Marcellus.
I get that, but you know what? Jameis Winston came to a horrible team, horrible franchise. They were 2-14. That's why they had the #1 overall pick. He gets there. He's won 18 games, lost 27, but still, you're trying to climb a mountain. I get it.
How do you have his character at 10, Marcellus?
I got his character at 10 because accusations is different. Look, crab legs, I'm not counting that. You count that. But if I get free stuff at school and then one day I show up and y'all didn't tell me it's not free anymore, that is a you problem. That is not on me. I'm always going to. The character is still flawed because the Uber incident and situations like that. I give you some of that. Authenticity is what's funny, though. Eating up the W's, once he did that, I think Deshaun said, "Oh, I hope Ryan Fitzpatrick good." That's my quarterback. You can't be eating W's like that. But all said, I have him down because he's not going to be the starter, but not as low as you.
If he's not a dumpster fire, who is?
Dumpster fire, you just said that dumpster fire should be the starter. Which one is it, Whit? Which one?
All right, we got to go. That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow.